Welcome, everybody, to the Healing Place podcast. I am your host, Teri Wellbrock, and I am so grateful that you're here. Before we dive into today's conversation, I want to share some beautiful news. The Healing Place podcast has been ranked number 11 in the top 15 healing podcasts for 2026 by PodRanker. And to be included alongside the likes of Oprah and Dr. Tara Brach is something I truly receive with humility and gratitude. This recognition belongs to the entire community, to every guest who has shared vulnerability, and to every listener who shows up ready to grow, reflect, and heal. Whether you're walking through grief, trauma recovery, addiction healing, personal growth, or spiritual expansion, this is your space. A space for compassion, a space for courage, a space for healing. And I am so glad that you're here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for inviting others. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting, loving, liking, leaving your reviews, joining me on my Facebook page of the Healing Place podcast, connecting on LinkedIn, wherever it is we connect. Again, I am so grateful for you, and this wouldn't have happened without you. So thank you. All right, let's dive into today's episode. Welcome, everybody, to the Healing Place podcast. I'm your host, Teri Wellbrock, and my heart's extra happy today because I have my friend, Margie Hamner, here with me, and I'm going to read her bio, and then we'll dive into all of this wonderful magic stuff. So Margie Hamner is a visionary author, speaker, and children's empowerment advocate on a mission to help children embrace their inner light and believe in themselves and their dreams. Through her stories, workshops, and literacy initiatives, she equips children with the confidence, self-esteem, gratitude, intuition, positive mindset, and emotional intelligence they need to navigate an ever-changing world. She is the best-selling author of Magic Ball of Light, Summer Camp, Magic Ball of Light, Winter Holiday, and a contributing author to Brave Kids, Short Stories to Inspire Our Future World Changers, Volume 3. Her storytelling blends imagination with practical life lessons, inspiring children to trust their inner guidance and step into their potential with courage. So welcome, Margie.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Yes, me too. And I have books here. For those who listen to the show regularly, you know, I've talked about I was also a contributing author for Brave Kids, which is where we met. And I love that I'm going to show everybody just because it's so cute. When we met up here on Hilton Head Island for coffee, you had a book. I hadn't gotten my books yet. And so this is actually the copy you gave me, which is so wonderful. And then you signed it for me. So Chapter 12, make sure you guys go download or buy this book. And then Magic Ball of Light. So let's talk about the inspiration behind your books and certainly talk about what you did prior to this, because I think that's important to know.
Well, thank you, Teri. I'm excited to be here and to talk with your guests. I was a human resources executive coach and instructor consultant for the last 30 years. And about 3 years ago, I just was kind of finished, just kind of done. It was like a January of 2023, and I was just finished, kind of doing that. And I was turning 60 that year, and I joined a mastermind group to help me figure out where my next chapter would land. And in that Zoom call, I had an unexpected vision. I was on a Zoom call with, people around the world with little boxes on a Zoom screen. And the instructor asked us to do some energy work. He asked us to kind of warm up our hands and feel the energy between our fingers and push it out to the screen. And I was like, okay, I'll follow along. And as I followed along, I closed my eyes again. And the next thing you know, I wasn't here. I wasn't in this room that you see me behind. This is my home office. I was transported to a different place, and Fernando's voice faded away. And I saw myself different than I look now. I saw myself, more hippie-ish, more down to earth, more bohemian, curly hair, streaks of gray, and I was holding a ball of light and I was sharing it with children in a field. And then I was back in my office and I was like, what the heck just happened? And so over the course of several months, I explored what that meant, which led me to write a book about this. As you said, the Magic Ball of Light Winter Holiday. First one was the summer camp. So I basically made up a story, a fiction story about kids receiving the light. But what was perplexing was, what is the light? I kept thinking, what could I give them that I already knew? It wasn't anything woo-woo or anything, like Stranger Things or like Harry Potter magic. It was really what I've been teaching adults all along. It's been empowerment, confidence, self-esteem, belief in yourself, courage, that kind of thing. So I was able to, because I believe we're all born with a little inner light. And in the book, it's a matter of this camp leader sparking the children's inner light that they're already born with so that they can feel empowered to overcome different situations. So,
Yeah. And I told you before we hit record, I love it. I mean, as a child trauma survivor, just having someone who's there to empower a child who may be struggling, and whether that child is struggling or not, I'm just speaking from my own personal experience. I know as I read both of your books, like little Teri inside of me, she just felt more empowered. I saw so much of myself in many of the characters that you have. Um, the one that's really resonating with me is the summer camp book. I think it was a summer camp book. I'm sorry if I blend them together, you'll have to correct me. Um, where the girls were going to, or was it, maybe it was in Brave Kids, where the kids were going to tease or use a spider to scare
mhm.
the other girls, or
Brave
scare another
kids.
girl in their four bedroom or their four bunk room cabin. And how the one girl was just, oh, I don't feel comfortable with that. And so speaking of that, like that intuition part of it, and how I had nobody to teach me to listen to that voice and
Mm.
to pay attention to, oh, this situation is really bad and I need to get out of it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I grew up in an abusive childhood. There were seven of us. My dad drank, he was an alcoholic and was abusive to us and my mom. So a lot of I didn't have that either, Teri. I didn't have that empowerment. I didn't have anybody who gave me a ball of light or, gave me to spark my own inner light. But I developed that later, and that might be one of the reasons why I want to help kids, because again, I was disempowered like you as a child. And the stories are real. Some of the kids are real. Some of the kids are my grandkids. And my illustrator did such a fabulous job, coming up with drawing their faces so they look just like them. Like this is Grace, and it's black and white sketches. Grace, she this while the story is not real, it's about a little girl who gets bullied at school, but the situation is real, and she doesn't know how to handle it. She pretends she has a tummy ache. And she says, I can't go to school. I'm sick, because she's avoiding, obviously, this bullying situation. And she doesn't know how to articulate it because she's only like 7 years old, 8 years old. So it's helping the kids find that they can find courage to tell people what's going on with the different stories.
Yeah, yeah. And again, I want to go back and give your books to little me and be like, this is a guide. This is so awesome. Because again, I think, again, speaking from personal experience in writing and Brave Kids and being a part of that book, as well as narrating it and working through all those stories and reading your story, giving voice to your story in the audiobook. Um, there's just, to me, like, I think people who help guide children, it is impacting future world changers. Like if we're planting those seeds early, wow, what a difference these kids, how they're going to experience this very tumultuous world.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's part of one of the reasons why I want to do this for kids and help them, with the various stories and using my imagination to really empower them. And you
Yeah.
mentioned the one about brave kids, and that one was about a little girl who learns to trust her intuition, or I call it her inner voice. And again, if kids could learn that now or as a younger age, then you're right. They won't. hang out with maybe the wrong kids, or they have this feeling, this gut feeling in their tummy that says, it doesn't feel right. So that that way they can use their voice or to turn away and get away from those types of situations. So I really hope, I mean, I do believe words are powerful. I've read books in my life that changed my life along the
Yeah.
way. So sometimes you never know. A child could read the book and feel empowered. That's my goal.
Yeah, beautiful. Now I know you do speaking events, and I love that we're connected on Facebook because I see when you post. I'm not on a whole lot anymore, but when I do pop on, I love it that you're there on my page in my feed, and you speak at schools and do events, don't you?
Yes, yes. So I've been very blessed to work in some of the local elementary schools because the kids that are for this book, it's a chapter book, so it's 7 to 11 years old. So elementary schools, I'll do presentations for the whole schools. I'll do Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, private schools. It just it's really fun for me. I really love it because it's one thing to write a book and use your imagination, but to see their faces, like to tell them the story. And I have a little ball of light, this little pretend ball of light that I show them, and I'm like, yeah, and you have this inner light, and to see their eyes light up and feel, empowered and encouraged is just priceless. I just love the face-to-face interaction. I mean, their energy, feeds my energy. It just lifts me up. So yes, I do speaking engagements. I'm looking to do more conferences, more youth conferences, perhaps some summer camps would be cool since the book is summer camps. And we'll see where that goes.
Oh, that's such a fun idea. I didn't even think about what a cool idea to go to summer camps and be able to bring this to sit around a campfire or something and read this to kids. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I know for me, I just had such great experience as well. Like you're speaking to my soul because when we would go to schools and read our little book that we had written, my daughter wrote in fourth grade. Um, yeah, you're right. Like kids are just they're such a great audience because they're sponges. They want to learn, they want to understand. They're trying to figure out the world. And instead of inundating them with the screen time of a phone and God only knows what's, you know, they're absorbing, to give them such a positive, empowering tool is it's just beautiful. You know, I'm a big fan.
Yeah, well, thank you. And something you mentioned about the kids being, really addicted to their phones and using them. I see this with my grandkids too, with their tablets and their phones. So the new thing I'm getting ready to start, I'm starting this week, is creating YouTube Shorts because kids only like to look at things short, 60 seconds or less. But if I can grab them, in those 60 seconds, and then each little short can be about a mini lesson from the book, maybe that could help them too. Just knowing that, they don't have the book. Maybe they don't have the money to buy the book, but maybe that YouTube short can really make the difference too. So I'm excited to try something new to reach my audience with where they are.
Oh, that's so fun. And again, I love that idea because you're right. Well, not just kids, everyone has such short attention spans anymore, right? Like
Mhm.
we're just that fast paced, like scrolling through reels, and you're right, and YouTube shorts. And yeah, yeah, wonderful. Very cool. I know your focus is on kids. When you do presentations or leadership work or anything, do you talk to parents as well about these particular subjects so that they can also understand how to encourage this, listening to the inner voice and so forth in their children?
Yeah, I guess in some cases they're often there, but maybe the teachers are more there than the parents because I'm at a school. So I haven't really had too many, well, maybe a few library events where the kids were with their parents, where they would want to promote those same social and emotional learning skill sets. And that's a new curriculum in today's schools. And not, beyond reading, writing, arithmetic that we all grew up now, they're learning about social and emotional learning, like the little girl Grace who got bullied. who doesn't know how to process her feelings. So I'm so glad that schools offer that. So, working more with the teachers, I think has been what I've been doing, but certainly I'd like to work with parents. And in fact, I'd like to work more with grandparents. And do you want to know why? Because I had this sort of aha moment. You know how as an entrepreneur, we're always told, you need to find your ideal client. Okay, so my ideal client would be 7 to 11 years old, but my 7 to 11 years old can't buy my book on Amazon. They don't have the money. So you want to go to the person, the parents, the teachers. But because I'm a grandmother and I have 6 grandchildren, and many of which are in the books, I feel like grandparents or grandmas specifically may be my niche market. Because why? Grandparents have money. Grandparents want to impart those, what I call wholesome values of the way we grew up with Leave It to Beaver and Mr. Rogers. They all remember that. And so whereas my daughter's age, they didn't grow up with Mr. Rogers. They probably don't even know who that is. But so it sparks that inner child, like you're saying, for the grandma says, oh, this book is kind of like, like a book like Nancy Drew or something that we grew up with. And in fact, I have a real big moonshot goal to be the new Mr. Rogers.
I love it. And I have two things to say. One, if I turn my chair, you'll see, oh, I don't think you can see them. They're down below. But my Nancy Drew, I have Nancy Drew books because, yeah, that's so, oh my gosh, that was my thing. And I love that. But two, I was just walking my dog yesterday and my neighbor was walking his new little puppy and his older lab. He was Mr. Rogers' official photographer. So he worked with Mr. Rogers for years
Oh
and
my
years and years and years.
gosh.
I just love him, Jim. He's so amazing. So I'll have to send you his link to his work so you can see. But I just like he's an idol of mine because I'm just like, oh my gosh, like to be surrounded by that beautiful, beautiful energy. And he's like that. Like I love Jim because he's just that gentle, he's a gentle soul. And
Oh, that's
so
so
yeah.
cool. Small
Yeah.
world. But I thought about it. I said, if I were going to do, like a TV show like Mr. Rogers, the kids would like not connect with that now. Like him coming in, taking off his jacket, putting on his sweater, walking slowly over to put his slippers on. They'd be gone. They'd be scrolling right by it to something new. So I need to come up with something different. You know what I mean? Something more, the same message that Mr. Rogers was doing, but not the way he did it, if that makes
Yes.
sense.
No, that makes 100% sense. Yeah,
So
like
I'm open
move
for
it into
ideas.
move it into this century, this decade. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I have to say, I love that you're focusing on grandparents as your um what do they call that? Like when you think of your ideal, right, your ideal client or customer.
Audience. Hmm.
The audience, yes, thank you. That's the word I was looking for. My grandmother, she was just such a great saving grace in my life. My parents were so consumed with
Hmm.
their own chaos. My mom was an alcoholic. She was working full time and extra hours to try to make income. My dad was struggling, but my grandma was retired and
Hmm.
I was her attention, me and my little
Oh,
sisters.
oh.
That's what, so we just received
Mhm.
love and gentleness and kindness. She never screamed at us. She never hit us. She did not all the things that were happening in our real world, our lives. She was such a beautiful saving grace. So to me, it's like, oh yeah, grandparents to me are just these beautiful souls based on my experience.
Mhm.
Um, who are there to love these little people. Um, yeah, so I love
Yeah,
that.
I
Thanks.
I, I really, and I think as you're saying it, it's reinforcing my that intuition that I had about being marketing these books to the grandparents because they really are present. And I know this when I'm a grandmother now, so I can be I'm shuttling them back and forth to different activities, but I can play bubbles with them. I can play hide and seek. I don't have anything to do. I'm not trying to live paycheck to paycheck like I used to do when I was a single mom. I was living paycheck to paycheck. And my mom, I was very fortunate, lived with us for a while. She lived with my daughter and I probably when she came about the same age, 7, 8 years old. After my dad died, my mom moved in with us and she took my daughter to dance class. She took her to Girl Scouts because I was working. I was commuting into the city of DC. So I wasn't, she would have missed out on those opportunities. So I'm very blessed that my mom had helped my daughter and she had that type of relationship that you're speaking to, that you had with your grandparents. So um, it's really special.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of times I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole here for a second, but many times, so my grandpa, who he passed when I was 3, but I have such beautiful, beautiful memories of him, like him holding me on his lap. He would read me stories, and I just have very, very happy, like when I think of him, I have very happy memories of him. But he was apparently incredibly abusive to my dad. And my dad, as a matter of fact, he was one of 8 children, never heard his father say his name until the day he had a heart attack in our shared home and called out Jim, my dad's name. And that's when
Mm,
my dad said all the hair stood up on the back of his neck because he had never heard his father say his name. He called all of his boys, boy, come here, boy.
mm.
And so to me, it's almost like grandparents get this second chance sometimes when their grandchildren come around. And so for them to be able to be like, oh, I'm going to do some empowerment work and change. I may have screwed up parenting, but I've got this new little person. To me, that's such a beautiful vision and for you to be a part of that and help them
Yeah.
and probably help them do some empowerment work and healing work as they, read these books to these kids.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think, yeah, as we talk, it's more of like a generational healing, maybe. I hadn't thought of it that way
Yeah.
either until this conversation, generational healing, because, I'm sure, I mean, even as a mother, there's things I wish I could have done differently. Maybe I shouldn't have worked so much, maybe I shouldn't have traveled so much, but all those things where, you can't go back and change it. But you want to be able to pay that forward to your grandkids and help them. And I think it's a blessing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful, beautiful. So now how do folks, if somebody wants to bring you into a school, do you travel or do you stay local to where you are?
Sure, I could travel. I kind of look for that. I kind of got to have some moonshot vision of being able to travel abroad. I was on a cruise recently, and I shared. My husband and I were on a cruise out in the Caribbean, and I shared the books with the kids in the little. They have like a little camp, a little daycare center type in the cruise. So I'm like, hey, I could do this. And if you want me to I can come back on your cruise and do this every day. So cruise ships would be great, mission trips or conferences, summer camps. Local is also good. I can even do virtual, believe it or not. So
Oh
sometimes
yeah.
schools may not have a budget for me to fly to, say, Chicago, but I could do a virtual discussion about the book because I have a PowerPoint presentation that I do because kids need to see pictures and movies and things like that. So they can get in touch with me for that too.
Oh, I love that. That is, I mean, just such a great idea. And I even remember as a kid, like having videos up on the screen of and learning from someone. And I was still very engaged in wanting to learn from what was being shown. So that's awesome. Um, and then for your books, how do folks get a hold of your books and where can they find them?
The best place to get the books are on Amazon. So on Amazon that you can Google, either Magic Ball of Light, and the first one will come up, or the second one. So you've got summer camp and winter holiday. So they're listed for 11.99 right now. So there is a pretty affordable price for those, so they can order them. If I come in person to wherever they are, I can autograph them for the kids.
Oh, I love it. I love it. All right. Well, I certainly want to leave you an opportunity to leave folks with any words of wisdom or touch upon anything we didn't have a chance to.
Oh, well, thank you, Terry. And thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm just really, really grateful for this opportunity to share with your audience about empowering children. It truly is our next generation, and we want to be able to help them to build that confidence, that intuition, that inner voice, being able to really do what they dream of doing. I see so many parents that kind of want them to be who they want to be, but to truly be who they're meant to be is would be just amazing. So it's my little way of doing this in the world and hopefully having it snowball and spread. So I really appreciate the time and your audience attention.
Awesome. And I love what you just brought up. I'm going to continue this for just a second in that allowing children to be who they're meant to be, because we do as parents. I have three kids myself, and we want what's best for our kids. And so we I don't want to say I push them, but I certainly encourage them. And I did tell them often, I remember, I don't care if you decide you're going to be weave baskets for a living or be a doctor, whatever, like whatever you want to be, you, as long as you are happy and following that passion, that purpose. And I think what you're doing with helping kids listen to their inner voice, that's that's where you can. I still do it when I meditate. I'm
Mhm.
listening to that inner voice and what that next thing is. And I know you do as well. Like that, what's that? I call them angel whispers myself. But those nudges, because that's helping me continue down this path of and teaching kids that. Oh my gosh, just so beautiful. So again, thank you for the work you do. I just think it's absolutely wonderful.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I look forward to seeing you again when I'm down in the Hilton Head area.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. And then hopefully today's cold and tomorrow's cold, but then it's going to be in the 60s, and we're hoping from here on out it's warm. So, so how do folks connect with you? What is your website? And
Thank you. It's a www.magicballoflight.com. So they can go to the website. That would also click, they can order the book from there, but it'll just take them to Amazon. You can get my email from there. You can request an author visit, etc. And I'll be soon having some YouTubes, doing some YouTube shorts soon. So they'll be connected on that website of magicballoflight.com. You can also email me from there too.
okay, any socials to share?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. So it's and Instagram, it's author Margie Hamner, and the others are just my name.
Okay, wonderful. All right, well, thank you again for being here. It's just been so wonderful, and for everything you're doing to empower kids.
Thank you, Terry.
All right, everyone, thanks for joining us today on the Healing Place podcast. And remember, until next time, be gentle with yourself. Thanks. Bye-bye. Hey, everybody, Teri Wellbrock here. Just wanted to thank you again for being a part of this healing space and my hashtag Hope for Healing journey. Thank you for sharing, liking, inviting others to join, listening in. You've really helped this show blossom. It has now been downloaded in 136 countries and is in the top 2% globally out of 3.2 million shows, which is just amazing. And it's all because of you and your tuning in and inviting others and sharing and liking and loving. And your reviews on Apple really help too. My goal is to hit 100 5-star reviews by the end of the year. And I am closing in on that. So if you are listening in on Apple or Apple Podcasts, please go and rate the show and leave a review if you absolutely love it. And I would be most appreciative. Also, if you would like to receive my monthly Hope for Healing newsletter, please be sure to go to teriwellbrock.com. It's Teri, just one R, WELLBROCK.com. And I have a gift to send you for signing up for that monthly Hope for Healing newsletter. Plus, there are many other resources listed on that page, including a resource library. All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.